Moving on to the world of business now, a trade deal to improve economic relations among African countries was on Wednesday signed by 44 African countries at a summit of the African Union in Kigali, Rwanda. However, 10 countries, including Nigeria and South Africa, snubbed the deal. The African Continental Free Trade Area is meant to remove trade barriers between African countries. However, manufacturers in Nigeria are against some terms of the deal.
In 2012, the African Union agreed to establish one of the world's largest free trade blocs. The African Continental Free Trade Area (CFTA) would remove barriers to trade like tariffs and import quotas, allowing the free flow of goods and services between its members. After about 6 years in the works, the deal, which will form a $3 trillion continental free trade zone encompassing 1.2 billion people, was finally ratified by leaders of 44 African countries at a summit in the Rwandan capital, Kigali, on the 21st of March. But the importance of the deal was somewhat diminished by the refusal of two of the continent's biggest economies, Nigeria and South Africa, to sign the deal. The Nigerian government had initially agreed to be part of the deal, but pulled out 48 hours before it was eventually signed.
We debated it. We felt as a team that, as far as we were concerned, it was good to go. And I think Mr. Adesina has explained that other stakeholders came and said, we've not been carried along. And the president then said, let's go and assess what they're saying. And I don't really think, these are major decisions that affect the economy and affect the lives of Nigerians. And if stakeholders, and I think the president specifically mentioned MAN, that had come forward and said, look, we haven't been carried along, we're not clear about this. And the president has said, create a forum and a committee and go and engage and understand what their challenges are and understand so that we can make a clear decision. These are national issues and they must be taken to, and I don't think there's anything wrong with an iterative process that goes, you must get the answer right. It doesn't matter how long it takes you to get to the answer, you must get it right.
The strongest opposition to the deal in Nigeria has come from the country's local manufacturers. They say certain aspects of the CFTA will be inimical to local manufacturing.
This is our concern. They want to liberalize, right away they want to liberalize 90% of the products so that they'll have zero duty on them. When they did consult with us, if they have consulted with us, we would tell them that 10% remaining is too small. Because even according to the ECOWAS CET, we're enjoying more than 10%. So for us to now allow to decrease that number to 10% only would be inimical to the growth of the manufacturing sector. And that is why we said we need that information. They weren't able to give us, the chief negotiator was we requested for that information. He didn't seem to have it. And that was why we insisted that we should go forward until we get that information. What are the specific product lines? We don't know which product lines that are involved. So we needed that information. This is part of the engagement we are going to have with the chief negotiator and government.
President Muhammadu Buhari has now set up a committee to review the terms of the deal. The committee, which will be headed by the Minister of Trade and Investment, Okechukwu Enelama, is to report back to the government in 2 weeks. That will at least give the manufacturers and the major labor union in the country, the Nigerian Labour Congress, the opportunity to discuss their concerns and reach a common ground before Nigeria eventually signs up to the deal. Adeshewa Odushaga, TV 360, Lagos.